Welcome to a new watercolor lesson. I am Vanidas Mangathil. In this video, we will be making 4 postcard sized imaginary watercolors. Yes, that's right, 4 paintings in a single go. Simultaneously 4 paintings. This is a real-time demonstration video and I will be explaining the process as we go. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please click on that subscribe button and the bell notification icon. You will be notified for all my new videos as I upload them. Right. So let's get into the video. Here I have pasted 4 pieces of watercolor papers, each of sized 3.5 inch by 5 inch approximately. Okay. Now once the paper is pasted, I am applying water to the top portion of the paper in a sort of random way. That means I am planning to have some sky there and some objects, but the exact shape I am not worried about. Just some random wetting of the paper and then playing with some colors. So I am adding cobalt blue to some of this to the top area. So the idea is that it will form some shapes, some bleeding down will happen because the paper is really wet, and I will keep on adding other colors. So I am adding little bit of a reddish violet now on the second image, and I am letting it bleed. You can find some sharp edges on this because the entire area of the paper was in wet, so you will find a lot of bleeding happening, and at some places you will find very sharp edges. That is because the way the paper is wet, the paper is made wet initially. Some area I am just softening. See, the idea is actually I am looking for the ideas now, because I have started without any proper idea. So the basic idea that I had was that the top half portion will probably be some sky, and there will be some objects like some trees or mountain, etc. In the half. That means the top portion of every painting. So then I am just playing with color. Whatever colors are coming into my mind, whatever whatever impulses, whatever instinct I get by looking at the paper, I am just following that. Okay. So adding some colors of some bright colors, red here and there, and constantly I am looking at the paper, and I am also thinking, what can I do out of this? Whatever is formed on the paper, what can I probably do? It is a good idea. It is a good approach in my view, because constantly we are kind of having a dialogue with ourselves and to get new ideas. Many times this may work, this may not work. See, whether it works or not works, it has advantage that you are learning. Okay, if it works, well, you get a wonderful painting as the output, and if it doesn't work, well, that's a learning. So you will keep on developing your ideas. Okay, so here I'm thinking of some darker foliages of trees in the background. Still thinking of what I should do with the negative space, what I should do with the white area that is naturally left. Maybe I will make those as some houses or some barns or something, with the white portion being the roof probably, and just softening some of the area. Sharp edges, too many sharp edges, I don't like. It is not very interesting. I also did some spraying, as you can see now. So whenever there are a lot of sharp edges, it's a good idea to apply some spray mist to get some soft edges. I'm also dropping some water to create some texture. Okay, all these things are just following the dynamic thoughts or some decisions taken on the fly. maybe I will make, I'm not clear about what I should do here. So making, probably suggesting some kind of pine tree or something, some sort of trees. See, still at this point I don't have a clear idea of what I should be doing, but still I am progressing. I am just allowing me to take the next step, and I am hoping that something convincing will come out ultimately. If out of these 4 attempts, if at least 2 becomes convincing, I'll be more than happy. If all the 4 comes convincing, that would be, I would treat as a lucky day. Okay. So I always tell to my students also that don't try to make every painting as a beautiful painting or something that should look beautiful. Okay, so if it I would say that you keep on exploring, or you could keep on having a dialogue with the paint and the paper, and let something get evolved. Even if you are using a reference picture, I wouldn't suggest, at least that is not my way of doing that, following the reference as it is and try and meticulously trying to get an exact replica of what is there in the reference. Take inspiration from the reference, try to have some kind of a resemblance, but apply a lot of your imagination. That is what something I would suggest, or I would try. Okay, at this point I'm not very clear, so I'm leaving some whites in between. I'm trying to refine some of those whites that is left. Maybe those are some distant, very small houses. Okay, and see, I'm using, for bigger washes I'm using bigger round brush. For smaller details I'll be using smaller round brush. And initially for wetting the paper I used a flat brush. Okay, I'm not very sure about what to do, but I think whenever I am in doubt of what to do, you see, the idea may not come, but some thoughts will come after a couple of seconds. So please wait until you get some ideas, and it's as a part of making it interesting. I'm softening the edges, I'm splashing some colors on top of a wet paper. Okay, I'm loading the smaller brush with some dark colors and then splashing it, tapping it on another brush so that a lot of droplets will fall on the paper. It will create some texture. Okay, something random will happen, and once you think something is done on one portion of the image, one image, you can switch to the other image. And my idea is to get a lot of things done wet on wet. So you may have to also switch between all these 4 images to save on the paper drying time, or to take best benefit of a wet on wet approach. Now the papers are almost dry. All these 4 portions are almost dry, and may not be fully. Some portion of the paper is still wet, but some portion of the paper is fully dry, so you can have some details. This could be some sort of trees, and here I am doing some softening, some more dropping in of colors, wet on wet. These, as I told, these are not based on clear ideas. Okay, these are based on some vague ideas and lot of hope. Vague, a little bit of idea and lot of hope, and some bold attempts. That is what I mean. If it works, it works. If it doesn't work, still you are learning. Okay. And don't treat, if you are not happy ultimately, don't think that you are making mistakes. Okay, you are learning in the process. Okay. So with the tissue paper, I am just softening some of this. Maybe I'm dragging some paints to, or maybe I'm smudging some paint, etc. I'm getting an idea of creating some shadows here, and the shadows are little bent, which will create the illusion of the land being little uneven, and softening it. Okay, softening it with a damp brush. I think something is coming out. Some distant houses and some red color foliage at the back, and some nearby trees and some shadows. They keep evaluating, keep exploring. It's a series of I mean, what do you call it as, trial and errors. I would say I have read somewhere that every painting or every piece of artwork is basically a series of decisions, or it's a sequence of decisions basically. That is not the precise words, but I would agree to that. The end result is the outcome of a series of decisions that you make on the way. So take decisions, listen to what your mind says, and follow that. Then whatever you make will be unique. It will be a unique piece of art which belongs truly to you. All right, there will be some barks of trees, some smaller tree trunks. See whether whatever we make, whether it is logically possible in real world or not, it's a different question. I would try to make it convincing and as if it existed in the real world. But even if you are making some elements which may not practically happen in the real world, but still it is okay if it makes your work artistically interesting. Some sort of fences, and some vertical elements. There are a lot of horizontal washes, etc. So some vertical elements, some sharper elements. Most of the background are wet on wet, soft things. So better have some sharper elements as well in the front. The mix of soft and sharp elements, mix of various colors, warm and cool colors, mix of various tones, light and dark tones, they all make it interesting. Okay. It is very tiny size, 3.5 by 5 inch approximately, which is very tiny, so you cannot precisely make a lot of things. Okay. So whatever we make, the elements within the painting, they tend to be very small, very tiny, and getting accurate depiction of very tiny element is really difficult. I'm switching between the brushes. As you can see, I'm holding 3 brushes, or each round brush different sizes, and out of that, one is a liner brush, and this is a very thin round brush, defining some thin shadows. And yeah, I think we are getting much more clarity than what we had at the beginning. So now we have a little bit more clarity. Still I am confused about what should be added as details. And okay, I think I will add some figures maybe going forward. Some darker touches. See, these darker touches will make it interesting. That darker touches, when the paper is dry, if you make darker touches, it creates contrast. The edges will be sharp, tonally it will be dark, and it will create contrast. I think I will make some figures here, making some tiny figures, and I think I will also make some warm shadows to match with the shadows of the trees above, trees on the left side. again, it is just an idea that is coming where these figures are placed, and what is the size of those figures, and what they should be doing, those suggested people, what kind of an action they are performing. They are all sort of dynamic decision. Of course, for the size of the figure, we need to ensure that the size matches with the surroundings. You cannot make a huge figure here because the trees are tiny, the houses behind is tiny, so you should have a convincing perspective and size for the figures. See, the element that you are adding can be random, or imaginary, but the size and perspective of those elements, the colors, shadows, they should be in sync with what is already there on the paper. So you cannot just have a figure and have a different direction, because the shadows should be consistent and the size should be consistent, and the placement where it should be depends upon what would look good. It's a compositional decision where to place the figures, and that kind of a decision where it will look good, there is no, I don't think there is any hard and fast rule that you have to strictly follow. It's a decision, it's a thing that will get developed. It's a sense that gets developed over a period of time when we do these kind of imaginary works. If you just copy from existing references without any alteration, you may not be developing those things. You should always explore, alter the things, then only you will take decisions and you will get better at compositions. That is my view. Okay. So keep practicing this. Okay, so take small pieces of paper. Maybe you can use the backside of a spoiled watercolor work. You can do these kind of practices, and this is going to really help at the end. Initially, the works may not come out good. You may have to throw a lot of these kind of experimental works, but after a period of time, more and more works will get convincing. I don't do these kind of things regularly. I used to do earlier, but not these days. But since I thought this is something that people can try and have some learning out of it, I thought of sharing it, adding figures. Yeah, I think we are going to call it as done. Right? Do you think anything more we need to add? Some darker touches. What exactly those means? Maybe they are figures. Maybe they are something else. I don't have much of clues. But it is fun. It is really fun that we are trying to make something from our own imagination. You remember that we began just with some wetting of the paper in a random way, not precisely random, but in a semi-random kind of an approach, and then we continued from that. So we are done, and I'm taking out the tape. Hope this video was informative to you. You can please try and practice it. So if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel and press the bell notification. If you have any comments or suggestions, please let me know. I will surely have a look at your comments and try to get back to you. So thanks for watching again, and we'll see you in the next painting. Bye.